it's Ricky from Ricky's Pretties, and today I've got a pretty project for you guys. It's not Easter. With Easter just being a week away, I decided to forgo the other Easter projects that I had planned. I had quite a few that I wanted to do, but breaking my ankle kind of got in the way of that. So I am going to move on to the next holiday, which is Mother's Day. And so I am going to be demonstrating how to make a beautiful Mother's Day present. And it's actually one of my most requested things. I made one of these for a Secret Santa project last Christmas, and I got quite a few orders off of just giving that one item away. Everybody loved it and wanted one, you know, and so they were buying them from me to give to their relatives. And it's a decorated bottle. There's lots of different ways to decorate it. Everybody has their own way of doing it, so I'm just going to show you the way I like to do mine. I got this bottle at Hobby Lobby. I do drink wine, and so I usually have a wine bottle on hand, but I haven't drank any lately, so I just went ahead and bought this one. It's not as good a quality as the wine bottles you get if you buy even just a low quality wine. Because this glass has a little, you know, on the side, you can see it's got like a little seam, and there's a little bit of pitting in the glass, you know, so it's just not the best quality, but it's pretty inexpensive, to get these at Hobby Lobby. And I'm just going to go ahead and use this one because I have it on hand. And then, I've got this napkin. I got this napkin from my friend Debbie at Kiki's sale. I mention her quite a bit because, you know, I get a lot of my supplies from her. But if she no longer has these napkins, or if you can't get into that group because she only accepts people from the USA, that's the only place she ships to, or if you don't have a Facebook profile because it is a Facebook group, then you can look online for this napkin. Purple butterfly napkin is all you'll need to search, and you'll find it. I'm not sure if you can get it on Amazon, but there's some Etsy sellers that have it. And so you can still find this napkin with these purple butterflies. It's absolutely beautiful. And so I'm going to use that. And I've got some bling, some chain bling that I got from my friend Debbie. And also this earring. This is an earring, believe it or not. This thing is huge. And so what I do is stuff like this. I got this from my friend Debbie. But you can find earrings like this at like the $1.50, $1.75, you know, jewelry stores that they have around. Hopefully they'll have one in your area, but you can find blingy items like this at those kind of places. And I cut these up and use little pieces of this. I mean, I probably would never be able to wear this because it's so heavy, but it is an earring. But I cut these up and use pieces off of them. And I'm not going to use this whole thing. I'm just going to use probably this piece right here is what I have in mind. So I've got this out. And then I have another little butterfly earring that I'm going to cut the post off of. I'm going to use that. Hopefully, if we can get it to stick, we'll find out. And I have another little blingy. This is a dragonfly. And this is an embellishment. It's not an earring or anything. It's flat on the back. I got that from Debbie too. All the blingy things that I'm using today I got from my friend Debbie at Kiki's sale. And this one, I wanted to put in a little bit of green because this is mostly going to be purple. I also got these little butterflies from her, these little butterfly appliques. Going to be using a few of these. This is a little different one. You can use lace. You can use any kind of blingy objects. You can use blingy buttons. I find those a lot of the times at Hobby Lobby on sale. They'll have them in their sale. And, you know, just any kind of blingy items you can find around you can use for this project. Just get things that go with your napkin that you're using. I'm going to use a little bit of the Distress Oxide by Tim Holtz. I'm going to be using that probably. I have some lace that I also got from my friend Debbie. This is kind of pretty. I like the little danglies on this, so I'm going to be using a little bit of that. We're not going to use all of this, but a little bit of it. And I also have some mulberry flowers here that I've got. And I've got a little scrap piece of lace that I may or may not use all or part of. And I have some twine. I got this at Hobby Lobby. Did I get this at Hobby Lobby? I think I got this at Hobby Lobby. They have it at Dollar Tree too. So if you can find it at Dollar Tree, it'll probably be cheaper. But I do think I bought this roll at Hobby Lobby. And I've got some of that. I've got Mod Podge. And I have some rubbing alcohol to clean our glass with before we start. And I'm probably going to be using a little bit of my Spectra glitter. I really like this. I use it on a lot of my Mod Podge projects. It's like German glass glitter, except for it's made out of plastic. It's shiny, but it doesn't hurt. You know, if you get it in the floor or if you get it everywhere and you don't get the little slivers in your hands or in your feet, you know, if you accidentally spill it somewhere. So that's why I prefer using this, because it's plastic and it's not as hard to clean up, and it's, you know, just not quite as sharp if you're going to be using it on things. So I like this a lot, and I get this on Amazon. And that's all I have out right now. You will need some bottle lights, and I got some on Amazon. And I'm probably going to use that one, although it's not my favorite. It's like a little cork that goes in here. I'll show it to you later when we get ready to put that in. But the ones I bought on Amazon, I didn't really care for. They have 3 different modes. They've got 2 different flash modes and then an always on mode. But the thing is that they're kind of cheaply made. So if you don't, you know, if you wiggle it just right, it'll go off, and you have to kind of pull it out and readjust the little wires and stuff to make it stay on. It's just kind of a pain. They've got a mind of their own. My favorite one to buy comes from Hobby Lobby. They're more expensive. They're like $3.50 or almost $4 for one, but they are much better quality. So, and you find those, I get mine where they sell the bottles. You know, they have them on the same aisle right now anyways. That's where they're at, in between the glass and the wood craft items that they have for sale, you know, the things that you DIY stuff with. That's where they are. And okay, so this is what I've got out. I've also got out a little bowl for my Mod Podge, and I've got a couple of brushes. I've got a spongy dauber thing that I'm going to use probably. I've got a couple of different sizes of brushes here that I'm going to be using at some point, more than likely, and some water and some paper towels on the side to clean. So, and I've got some little wire cutters so that I can cut things apart and take the back off of this earring. Okay, so that's what you're going to need. And once I get this out of the way, I'll start with our project. So give me just a few minutes to move some things aside, and I'll be back. All right, so the first thing we want to do is we want to get our bottle free of fingerprints, and there's a little bit of sticky here from a sticker that was on there. And we're going to clean our bottle off with some rubbing alcohol. This is just 50%. You can also do this with nail polish remover if you don't have rubbing alcohol. Acetone works really good for getting sticky off of things. So I'm basically just going to wipe this down. Getting it clean and free of fingerprints and oils will help everything to stick to it better. So we're going to try not to get any more on there, although I'm sure that I will. Okay, so that's done. And now what we need to do is separate out our napkin. This is a 3-ply napkin. And I've already got it started on one edge here. I just have to find where I started it at. I think it was this one, yeah. Okay, so we're going to separate the very top layer carefully from the rest. And we're going to set that aside because we don't need it just yet. We'll set that over there. And then this one, if you will look at this closely, you'll be able to see, I don't know if you can see on camera or not, but there's the faint hint of the print from the design from the napkin on here. And so I'm not going to use that layer. So I'm going to peel apart the second and third layer. Now this works really good on other projects, like if you're going to make textured paper for journals. This layer of napkin works really well for that, so don't discard it. You can use this for something else that you want a little bit of pattern or texture to, so don't discard it. Save it and you can use it on another project, but we're not using it today. We're going to use the plain backing is what we're going to use. And so we're not painting this bottle. We're just going to be applying napkin to it. And what I do is I start tearing it. I use pieces of it. And I don't care about the texture on the border there. That kind of adds to the project. So we're going to use most of this, if not all of it, to cover this bottle. So I just go around and start tearing pieces of it off. Okay, now we've got a little pile of our napkin there to use for this. And I'm going to use my little dauber. And I'm going to do like a section at a time. And I'm just going to start laying this napkin around. That won't matter. We will use saran wrap. I've got some of that out over here. We will be using some of that later, but for this part, no. I forgot to mention the saran wrap earlier, but anytime you're Mod Podging anything, decoupaging with napkins, you're going to need saran wrap. And I'm slightly overlapping these edges. That's what my brush is for. Go ahead and get that down. We might just use our brush. It may work better for this than the pouncer. Okay, you kind of get the idea, so I'm going to speed this video up and let you watch me go fast. Okay guys, you can see that this whole thing is extremely textured. The main thing you don't want is bubbles. Like that is a bubble. We don't want anything bubbling up, so if you see anything like that, just tamp it down with a little wet Mod Podge. If there's any little open places, don't worry about those. I mean, I've tried to cover most of them up, but if we wind up with one or two, that's okay, because we're not done. We're going to be putting more on here. So this has kind of a stucco appearance. It will kind of look like rice paper when it's dry. And so we just basically make sure there's no bubbles in the Mod Podge or in your napkin that you've laid down. And once you've double checked it and made sure that all of that is good, then all we need to do is just set it down, let it dry, and then we'll come back and do the next step, okay? All right, we'll see you guys in a little bit. Okay, y'all, our bottle is dry, and as you can see, this has kind of a transparent look to it, but it also vaguely resembles rice paper, which I like. It's like you get the look of rice paper, but it's not nearly as expensive as rice paper because it's a napkin. Okay, so what we're going to do now, and I did let this dry overnight because I did have quite a bit of Mod Podge on here. You want to make sure that your napkin is all soaked, you know, and that it's all, you know, wet with the Mod Podge. And yeah, so you get this look. And so what we're going to do next is we're going to start decorating this bottle with our napkin. So I'm going to go ahead and start cutting designs out of this. And I'm probably not going to go all the way up. I'm probably just going to use, you know, like, you know, half. We'll just start cutting out. But I'm not going to go all the way up. I'm just going to kind of go, you know, here. And, well, you'll see. So, to cut this out, I use a wet, this is just a fine point brush, and I get it wet. This is the easiest way to get designs cut out of your, you know, napkin. So, basically what we do is we just kind of go around it. With the damp brush. And the design will tear easily. You have to be careful with it still, you know, because you don't want to tear parts that you want to keep, and you don't want to tear into another design that you want to keep. So we're just going to kind of tear this out, but it makes it so much easier. And then I can kind of go around this edge too. And it just kind of makes it pretty easy and fast. So there's one. Okay, there's our next image. I'm not sure I want to use this one, so I'm going to skip it for now and just go on to this one here. Oops. I just want water, not Mod Podge. Get rid of that. We don't want Mod Podge just yet. Okay. And then I'm going to cut this one out. Pretty windy here today. I don't know if y'all can hear that outside or not. If you can, I'm sorry. The wind's blowing like 40 miles an hour. We've had a lot of fires here in Oklahoma today. Everything's just bone dry. Other people are getting all kinds of nasty weather, tornadoes down in Texas, and so today we're just dry as a bone. May is usually our bad month for all the bad weather, but we'll find out this year what's going to happen. You never know what you're going to get here. You could get 80 degrees one day and 20 degrees the next. Could be outside tanning one afternoon, and then the very next day you could be building a snowman. You just never know what is going to happen. I moved to Pennsylvania once and thought it was really boring because the weather, all it ever did was snow up there. And nothing exciting happened. So I found myself, having all this anxiety come springtime. But it was for no reason. You would think that I would be relieved to be somewhere that wasn't known for big tornadoes. But, when you spend your whole life in an area that gets those, you come to be every spring, your body gets used to being a little anxious about that. And so I found myself being anxious without really having a reason to be anxious. And I kind of felt like, whatever you call that, whenever you feel like you're missing out on something. I actually kind of felt like I was missing out on something fun, even though it's not fun, having all of that anxiety. I don't know, it was just really hard to tell. And the one really big storm we did get, I was at Lowe's and everybody else had ducked inside and they were all looking at me like I was crazy because I was still out in the garden area. There were trees falling over, the trees that they were falling over and just blowing past me. I was just sitting there watching it go by. They were looking at me like I was nuts, and I'm like, I'm from Oklahoma. This ain't nothing. 70 mile an hour wind, a little lightning. No big deal. It's kind of funny. All right, guys, so these are cut out, and so now I'm going to see where I want to place them and if I want to cut out anymore. So I'm just going to kind of, one of these is going to go on the front, and one of these is going to go on the back. So we'll put like one here, and then this can go here, and then this one can go on the side. We might kind of angle it a little bit. We'll just start. I think this is all we're going to need. I'm just going to start putting these on so we can see what it looks like. I can always add some more if I want to. What do I want my front and my back to be? Do I want a front and a back? It doesn't really matter because it's all really pretty. So I'll make this the front. And I'm going to need my bigger brush for this. Now we're going to do our Mod Podge, guys. So we're just going to and we're going to need our saran wrap. I'm kind of planning out my design because, I know I'm going to use this around, so I don't really want to cover up, all of my butterflies, but, I think I'm going to kind of stagger this because I've got some, appliques that I'm going to be putting on here, so, and some other things that we're going to do. So let's just see how this goes. I think I'm going to do this one down here like this. And I'm going to get my plastic wrap out because we are going to need our plastic wrap for this particular step. Bear with me, I forgot to get this out of this box, and you know, of course, you know, being cling wrap, it is clinging only to itself, so it might take me a good little second to be able to get this undone. It's being a little snarky. It's not wanting to cooperate, but I think I have won the battle. All right. There we go. Yay! I win. Okay. So now we're going to put this. And it's okay, you know, if I overestimate the area that I want this to go. I just don't want to underestimate it. So I'm just going to kind of put it on generously to make sure that I get it stuck down. So I'm going to place this here, about like that. I'm not real concerned if this is wrinkled because it's going to be kind of wrinkled, you know, because underneath this part's wrinkled, so it's not going to go on here perfectly smooth, but I don't want any major wrinkly spots. So we're going to get it on there as good as we can, and I am going to use the saran wrap to kind of smooth it down so that it sticks good. I don't want to rub too hard, but we do want to get it stuck down good. Okay, and we'll carefully peel this up so we don't tear or lift our napkin. Alright. Okay. That's good. And now I'm not going to go over that yet because I'm going to go to the side here. And now I'm going to put on a butterfly. I don't know if I want to angle it a little bit, maybe like this. See what that does. Maybe so, yeah, we'll do that. So I'm gonna kind of, you know, guesstimate where my glue's gonna go. I'm gonna put that on here like so. See how I tried to keep the glue in the shape of the napkin that I'm applying so that I don't get too much, you know, extended out. Okay, and I'm gonna lay this down. Smooth it out and get it stuck good. The main concern I have right now is that I don't want bubbles, so I'm just kind of smoothing over the napkin, making sure that it's stuck good so that we don't have any bubbles. And then we're going to carefully lift this. Okay. Alright. And I think that's good, so I can turn this way. And then I'm going to get my bigger one. These may overlap a little bit. That's okay if they do. We may not need to use this one because these designs are kind of big. Plus I angled that one, so we may tear this one apart and just use it in different little areas. In fact, that's probably what we're gonna do. So I think I'm gonna put this one like this. Okay. Sometimes things go the way you think they're going to, and sometimes they, you know, wind up looking a little different, but this is a good different. I think it's going to be really pretty when we get this done. And I'll show you what I mean by tearing this apart, because what we're going to do is kind of do a fill-in with it. Okay. Gently peel that up. And I'm going to take my little brush, and this little butterfly, this guy, he's kind of all by himself, so we're going to detach him. And this guy, he's kind of all by himself, so we'll detach him too. And we'll probably put him like right there. See what I mean by piecing? We're going to kind of piece. Piece things. Of course, he's kind of pretty. I may want him up here somewhere. I think I'll put him up there. Because I touched it. Try not to touch your napkin, guys. If you do, it's not that big of a deal, but try not to. And I think I'm going to put this one. I'm just going to put the lilies down here. Just right there. That's pretty. That's a small piece, so we'll just smooth it down like that. Hopefully y'all can see and I'm not out of frame. Okay, and then I was going to put this butterfly up here. That's pretty so far. Pretty, pretty. I've got this little piece. And I think I'm going to put it right there because that's kind of a big little spot. It needs something right there. So I'm just going to stick it there. And then my other butterfly can go. I've got things in mind to go up here, so I don't want to put him there. I think I'm just going to put him like right here. I think that'll be a nice place for him to go. Just kind of stick him like that. That's cute. Hey. And now we're going to start sticking everything down. We're going to go from the center out and apply Mod Podge over these napkins. And they're already stuck down good, so you shouldn't have to work too hard at it. We're just coating it with the Mod Podge. Notice I'm holding it up here where I don't have any napkin because I don't want to put my finger on the napkin at this point, because if I do, it's going to peel off. We don't want to create a hole if we can help it. If we do, there's ways to cover it up, but we don't want to. We want to try not to create any holes. So we'll carefully apply this Mod Podge over the top. I'm just using light pressure. You don't need any pressure to do this. You just want to go over it lightly. If you use too much pressure, you're going to tear your napkin, so don't do that. Just, you know, lightly. Easy does it. Always working from the center outward. That will help minimize the risk of tearing or pulling anything up. Okay, I've got this guy down here. Okay, and then this one. This is going to be so pretty when we get it done. Can't wait. Okay. Alright, I think everything has Mod Podge on it. Some of this has already started to dry. Just kind of going over it again with good measure. Looking for any areas that I might have missed or didn't get. Alright. Or if there's globs of anything anywhere, I don't want globs. Okay, I think that's good, so I'm going to stop playing with it, and we're going to set this right side up and let it get dry, and then we'll be back and I'll show you guys what's next.